Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I get the privilege of showing you guys the world's most annoying, most finicky plant of all times. Like hands down, this plant takes it. If you don't already know, I have a long history with this plant, and you know, it just kind of upsets me a little bit because I had just filmed a video where I was super happy with this plant and saying that it's probably my most proud plant ever. I spoke too soon because clearly it's going through some things, and what you're hearing, that humming in the background, that's actually me trying to revive this plant. And if you don't already know, or if you haven't guessed it yet, it's this Thai constellation right here. Now, as you can see, it looks not too bad, right? You're probably wondering why I'm so upset. Well, I'm upset because it decided to undergo some major root rot. Yeah, look at this. Look at this root rot. It is just something else. I am very disappointed with myself and this plant. Yeah. So let me turn off the air pump and just kind of take a step back and let you guys, fill you guys in on what had actually happened. So just one momento. All right, so that's much better. Yeah, so let's talk about what had actually happened to this Thai constellation. Right after that video that I had filmed about my top 5 monsteras, I decided to repot my plant. I decided to repot this Thai constellation because it just looked like it was starting to become really root bound, and I wanted the new leaf that looked like it was coming to produce a bigger leaf. So I wanted to upsize the pot. In turn, the plant decided to say not today. So it underwent some root rot, like I think 2.5 weeks in. So I had taken it out. At first I was like, oh, maybe, you know, this happens all the time, you know, like when the plant is going from, you know, like semi-hydro roots to more soil roots, because the substrate that I was using was more soil based. Clearly didn't like that. And I thought the transition was okay. I honestly thought the transition was okay. Clearly it's not. So yeah, so I think after that video that I had filmed 2.5 weeks later, it just started to rot. Sorry, it's shaking because PETA's sniffing the tripod. And then, yeah, and then it just like went downhill from there. So now it's just kind of soaking in water that I'm changing every other day. There is an air pump in here. And whenever I change out the water, I also add in hydrogen peroxide just to kill off any bacteria or fungus that may be brewing in the water. And I also, I also give the plant a splash of HydroGuard. So this stuff worked wonders for my plantlets, for my cuttings. Didn't do anything for this plant right here. I don't know what's going on. I think the plant itself is just going through like a transition period where it's also very confused as to what sort of roots it wants to have, I guess. I don't know. This is definitely a moment. So yeah, here we are. What are we, like a month and a half-ish later? I feel like it's a month and a half-ish later. But yeah, here we are. This is what I'm left with. So I do monitor the plant itself pretty closely. I would say, like I said, every other day I am trimming back anything that I think looks kind of dead and wonky. Like this right here needs to go. Like it's soft and smushy. So yeah, I've just been constantly trimming back whatever looks kind of, you know, not alive. And today's a day that I am going to be resetting this plant again. We are actually going back to basics at this point, because as you guys know, I have a long history with Thai constellations and having, you know, them die on me, especially the tissue culture ones. So in today's video, I'm actually going to be sending this back to, sorry, I lost my train of thought. This is actually really disappointing. I am very disappointed right now. Just give me a moment. Let me just kind of like collect my thoughts here. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is we're going back to basics. You guys know I have a history with Thai constellations and they're always dying on me because of root rot and what have you. So this water and air pump is definitely not working out for this Thai constellation because I seem to be losing more roots. So today I am actually just going to give it one more rinse. And when I say we're going back to basics, we are legit just like going back to basics to when I first started with tissue cultures and I finally had success. So that means I went out and bought myself a bag of fluval stratum. And hopefully this stuff will just kind of like bring the plant back to life, because otherwise at this point I'm just, I mean, it's either going to choose to live or die. And if it dies, I'm going to be really sad. But I mean, I can't keep doing this to myself. It hurts too much. So yeah. So what I'm actually going to do right now is take this downstairs and just actually empty the container and give it a good rinse. And I'll be back to show you guys how I pot this Thai constellation up. Alright, so I am back with the Thai constellation. It's been rinsed and it's now in a much smaller vase. I am choosing a much smaller vase because I feel like perhaps the bigger vase had too much, I guess like it was retaining too much water, and since this constellation is kind of like going through some things right now, I don't want to risk it rotting anymore. So what I'm gonna do is actually fill the bottom with a little bit of Leica. This could get a little bit loud, so my apologies if it's kind of noisy. But this is what I did for my my tissue cultures. I started off with just putting Leica on the bottom. That way the water could kind of like sit on the bottom without touching the roots, so it prevented root rot. And I think that's good. So I did have to go out and get a huge bag of stratum just because I didn't want to be, you know, running out and filling up this vase halfway and realizing I need more stratum. That would have been really embarrassing filming this video. So I do have some already opened, but I did purchase an extra bag just in case. So this is what I have. And you know, I'm just demonstrating how much Leica and water I'll be using because I do still receive some information, or not information, I still receive questions as to how much Leica I'm using and just where my water reservoir should stay. So that is why I'm filming this video, but I'm also filming this video to document my failures. But yeah, here I am again. So I'm just filling this up with stratum, and let's see if I can do this without, oh, there she goes. So I'm literally gonna just fill this vase up with stratum, because that's what I did with the tissue cultures, and it survived and it started rooting very well. So I'm gonna do the same thing here too. And I think stratum is a good substrate to use, and like the Thai constellations prefer it, probably because of the pH levels and like the minerals that are in here. There was like a bunch of other things, but my apologies, you guys. I'm like so distracted right now, just because, yeah, this is just really disappointing. Oh, I need a pair of scissors. I'll be right back. Okay. Have my little flower X-Acto knife here. Just gonna continue to dump this into the vase. You can't see this, but PETA is inspecting. Maybe you can. PETA's over here inspecting, making sure everything is legit. Very cute. I'm so glad I have a supportive dog. All right, let's dump this out. Okay. So I was listening to the radio the other day, driving to work, and I heard something that was actually quite interesting, and I never thought about it until now, because I feel like we all have these little quirks that we do. So what I heard on the radio was there was a girl who would always, she was complaining that she hates taking showers. And she hates taking showers because every time she goes in, she screams because it's cold. And everyone was like, well, why aren't you just waiting for the water to get hot? And she was like, oh, I never thought of that. And then it got me thinking, like, I didn't think there were people out there that actually would just get in the shower and turn on the faucet. Like I myself, you know, turn on the water, wait for it to get warm or hot, and then I get in. So when she said that, like, she gets in right away and every morning she screams because the water is cold, I just thought that was really peculiar. But then I realized, you know, I have these like little quirks too, where well, I guess maybe it's not the same, but there is a particular way of how I do things. Like, for example, when I'm making coffee, I don't know about you guys, but personally for me, I pour my cream and milk or whatever first, and then I brew my coffee. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh shit, I just dropped this. In my head, I'm thinking, when the coffee brews, it's gonna stir the creamer. Not really, because I still end up having to use a spoon anyways. But yeah, I don't know why I thought of that, but again, I need to make conversation here. All right, so this is all potted up now. There's some substrate in between the petiole and the main stem, so I'm just trying to remove that. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, and here she is, all potted up in stratum. There's no air pockets in here at all. So if you can see here, it's like closely, right up close to the area root actually. So all the secondary roots on this plant has totally dissipated, totally melted off. And this is what I'm left with. So yeah. All right, so anyways, we're trying to save this plant. So here I have just regular water. I also put in a splash of HydroGuard just in case, you know, just in case it might still be rotting, because it could be. It probably still will be for a little bit. I just don't know how far back it's going to continue to rot. But yeah, one of the things that I'm actually really concerned about is this Thai constellation has these two aerial roots right up here that are, it just like won't stop rotting. Like, it's a little smushy right now. So I wanted to transition it to stratum because I felt like when it was still in the water, it wouldn't stop rotting. Even though it wasn't even touching the water, it was still like rotting. And one of the worst things that can happen to your plant is when you have stem rot. Once you have stem rot, it's like almost game over. At that point, you pretty much have to chop that main stem off and, you know, hope that this node starts to grow. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm switching over to stratum. But also, like I said, we're basically just going back to basics because this is what worked for my tissue cultures. Hopefully this works for this plant right here. I'm pretty sure that's what I did when I was trying to root this thing, because it just kept rotting on me. But yeah, so word of advice for all you Thai constellation parents out there, just leave it alone. If you think it's suffocating, it's fine. It's fine. JK. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I really thought I had some success with this, and I thought we were going somewhere, but clearly not. This plant just decided to do whatever it wanted to do anyways and just kind of rot on me. So actually, you know what? I need to move this up a little more because I don't want it to rot the stem. So I'm gonna make sure the first two aerial roots are more exposed. And you know, I had a question on one of my previous videos regarding Thai constellations. I think the question was, why can't we just leave it in stratum? Like, if it's perfectly fine and happy in stratum, why can't we just leave it in stratum? You can. You totally can. I just chose to put it in something else because it was more feasible for me. But now, not at the expense of this stupid plant. So you totally can leave it in stratum. It's just very expensive. Like, you gotta think about it. This is a much smaller vase compared to what it was originally in. So I feel like you would totally use up this entire bag of Google stratum right here. And where I am, I live in Canada, this one bag cost me $44.99. So I think with tax it came up to like 50, not 50, it came up to like $47, $48 ish. So just under 50 bucks. I don't know, it's just, I feel like it's not feasible. Over time this will break down, which is fine because it's going to provide nutrients to the plant anyways. But my logic was I wanted it to be in something a little bit more sustainable. I wanted it to be in also still semi-hydro. I should never have put in a soil mixture into the mixture because that's why it started rotting. All right, so before I start babbling about absolutely nothing, to answer the question that some of like the viewers have asked, which was how much water am I actually putting in like to this situation? And to answer that question, it really depends. It varies just because of where your roots are sitting. So personally, in this case, not personally, in this situation, in this case, the water is sitting right here. So I would say that's like 1 centimeter, and I put it at 1 centimeter because the roots are actually touching the LICA, and because this is kind of suffering already from root rot, I don't want to add more water. I don't want to feed into the rot because yeah, it's just not good. So I kind of want it to dry out but still have some moisture and humidity going on in here so that it can start to reset itself. So it depends. It really depends on where your roots are sitting. So I guess it kind of makes sense that it's like 1 centimeter because I put like almost 2 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters ish of LICA. So not helpful, I know, I'm sorry. And I'm also rambling right now, just because I'm just so high strung and stressed out right now. Not just because of the plants, but just because of life. Because of life is stressing me out right now. But yeah, so here she is, all potted up. And honestly, truthfully, I'm very thankful that it hasn't fully, what's the word? Fully committed to rotting. And what I mean by that is sometimes I don't catch the rot in time and the entire plant will just die. But you know what? I still have these beautiful leaves that may or may not still stay with me by the end of the month. I don't know. I might just have 1 leaf by the end of the month because this plant is fairly large, and The root system isn't very good right now. So if it doesn't start rooting, we have a huge situation because the plant itself will start to drain energy from the leaves, which is why I'm saying I may end up just having one leaf at the end of the month. But fingers crossed, it's doing pretty good so far. So I'm just gonna keep monitoring, let it do its thing, and see where it goes. And I will keep you guys updated. Maybe not short videos like this. Maybe I'll just like film little clips here and there, and then just kind of, I don't know, stick them all together, kind of like a montage. I don't know. But yeah, so this is day one. This is day one of going back to basics, and hopefully I have good news to share with you guys later on, because I mean, yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling. I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I have nicer plants, or at least a nicer plant update for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oops, I forgot to mention one more thing. I'm actually going to be putting this Thai constellation back in the IKEA cabinet, just because I want to give it the most optimal environment, and that also means more light, higher humidity. I just want to give it everything it wants, or what I think it wants, so that it can start rooting for me. Yeah. That was all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.